We're back here, Radio Row, Scouting Combine 2026, and I've always got to have my favorite guest, and that's Lindsay Rhodes, Sūmersports.com. How you doing, Lindsay?
Good, especially now that you said that. I'm going to go back to every one of my colleagues at Sūmer Sports and say, you're not his favorite. He said so.
Exactly. Well, we always have a great conversation, and I always look forward to it. So that's why, and anytime I know that you're going to be available, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
It's no brainer. Just go ahead and pencil her in. I don't care what time. It's good. I got this.
Let's do it.
This is a fun conversation. Last year we talked about the quarterbacks, and it was funny because it was like, well, this isn't a great quarterback class, and next year will be great. And now this year it's not a great quarterback class, but for the Raiders, they got the number one.
Next year will be great.
Right.
Like that, it's too, yeah.
You know what someone told me earlier today and I thought was great? They said, I went to a bar one day and I saw a sign that said, beer's free tomorrow. And that's how they felt about the quarterback class. Like every year it's like beer's free tomorrow.
Kick that can down the road.
Right, exactly. But for the Raiders, they have the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
So I know we didn't have a lot of, conversation or whatever film study on Fernando at the Super Bowl. What do you think now, a few weeks removed?
I think he's such an interesting guy because I think that there are so many. I was just talking to Bruce Feldman about this, who covers college football for Fox Sports.
He did a great piece in The Athletic about him.
Yeah, and I think he really touched on something that's so important just in quarterback evaluation that it's hard to measure, and that is like mental acuity. Mm-hmm. If your mental processing skills are strong, there's no other skill set that is more important at the quarterback position than that. I talked to a bunch of different quarterbacks at Super Bowl and did like a start bench cut these 3 traits for a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And they didn't even think about it. They were like, mental processing is the thing you have to have. That is like, so that's the one. And then now we can debate the other ones.
Right.
And there's no way to measure that, right? Yeah. So that shows up on tape. That shows up in terms of your ability to get better year after year. And then the thing that Bruce Feldman talked about was a coach who told him, you can rattle him. Like you can get him, but you're not going to rattle him.
Right.
So you can get him to make a mistake, but he's going to come back out there and it's like goldfish, which is what you want to train everyone to be. So that's that type of mental toughness and resiliency. And I think he is smart, which is really important at the quarterback position. Decision making, all that kind of stuff is going to be so vital. And so I think that in terms of his traits, which he does not pop in terms of traits. He's not like a high-end player in terms of the types of things that we measure typically. Yeah. But I think that he has, and this becomes tricky because now you're just projecting a bunch of like work ethic and like he'll work through it and he'll get better and he'll find ways to make things work in spite of. Right. But I kind of think he's a really good candidate for that. And by the way, if we're going to talk about like arm strength and stuff like that, I don't think that stuff matters that much. Mm-hmm. As long as his arm strength is adequate, I think that's literally where the bar is.
It feels like he can make every throw. Yeah. And it feels like he's athletic enough. He's not going to wow you. Right. But it feels like he's athletic enough.
And so if those two things are true, then, you can make that look great. Mm-hmm. Because of what you have up here in your brain. Right. And your ability to diagnose a defense and learn from mistakes. And the only concern that I have is that the Raiders have a ton of other needs. So you don't want to put a high-end guy. A quarterback is so tough. It's kind of like a running back. Like you are dependent on your environment in so many ways. Right. And a rookie quarterback this is where I think the fact that he is mentally tough and resilient is going to come in really, really handy in this particular situation because you need to build up an offensive line. You need to build up a wide receiver room. Like there's so many other things, and can you do that all this offseason? Or are there still going to be learning curves where there's still a gap and we're going to take some hits this year and then we're going to add more pieces next year and then it's going to get even better? What does the trajectory look like? And is he able to, if you're not able to fill all of those holes this year, is he able to still be resilient and get better as the year goes on and just kind of take it for what it is?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they'll be able to fill every hole this offseason. I don't think that's realistic, but Daniel Jeremiah had a great breakdown the other day on his conference call that he did. He said the 3 Ps. You need a play caller, you need protection, and you need playmakers. Well, they got Clint Kubiak. That's a play caller. Yeah. Now, he's taking over as head coach, but he's still the play caller, and that's going to be good. Protection, they have to put that in place because it's not there. We saw it last year. And then they got to add more playmakers. Simple.
Yeah, all of the above. I'm really excited about the Kubiak hire in this particular place, too, because I think it's an interesting team, or it's an easy team to just go, okay, I'm going to put a Seahawks lens on the Raiders, right? Just that easiest one-to-one. Which is not to say that he couldn't come there and do something completely different because he's tied to that. But he built that offense specifically. He let pieces go and kind of put that offense in place. And so you can see, you already have the 2 tight ends for the multi-tight end, go heavy tight end package for the reasons that you do, which is to get the defense in base more frequently.
Right.
And then you have a great running back in the backfield. I think the way that they kind of, you've got Bowers, and I would love to see a wide receiver drafted there who could be in the name that I have my eye on at the start of the second round is Casey Concepcion.
Okay.
I think he's a really interesting guy in a number of different ways. He's a name that keeps coming up when I talk to people that are like, yeah, and this guy and this guy and this guy. I'll tell you who I really like, though. It's Casey. And so I'm hearing that enough that it makes me want to kind of sit up and take notice.
Yeah.
And so he's a guy that I think you can kind of see from a size standpoint what the profile looks like. You can kind of go, I can see a little JSN-ish if we're going to use him in this sort of a way. And so you can kind of start to see the picture come together. You still need an offensive line.
Right.
But I think that there are a lot. And by the way, Casey is a guy like Mekhi Lemon who I will be watching for when their measurements come in.
Right.
Because they're both 5'11", 190, 195.
Listed in the college, right?
Yep. And they need to be 5'11".
Right.
They can't come in at I'm actually 5'9" and a lot.
Right.
And also 180. That's gonna be a bummer for both of those guys.
I never felt like colleges did their players any favors by falsely listing them.
Because also, what benefit is it in college?
Right, exactly.
Literally, who cares how big they are?
Right.
You're going to use them anyway.
Yep.
Or are you trying to scare the opposing team into being like, he's so big?
Right, he's 5'11" instead of 5'9". I never understood why they do that, but we see it all the time, and then they come here.
Why did Vandy do that at quarterback? What? And then you set him up to come in at 5'9".
Right.
And that's the whole talk at Senior Bowl? Everyone knew he was – there were people who knew he was going to measure 5'9". That's not a weight.
Right.
Where, we're getting ready for a wrestling event. We put on 20 pounds
right.
sweated it out.
Weight,
what are we doing?
Right.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I never have understood why they do that. But it always comes out here, and we always find out, he's actually a couple of inches shorter than we thought. And then that becomes a thing.
Shouldn't their teams be putting that out in advance?
Yeah.
Also, because I would hate that for them here, too.
Right.
For that to be the buzz.
Exactly.
Is that, if Mekhi Lemon comes in and he's 5'10" or something like that, I would encourage teams to get ahead of that.
Right. And they're saying that about Zachariah Branch as well.
Yeah.
And I like him a lot from Georgia. Went to USC. He's a Las Vegas guy, went to Bishop Gorman High School. So I would love that for him. But I think the questions are about the size with him as well. Is he really properly listed as they did in the guide? And that's always an issue. We got Lindsay Rhodes here, Sūmersports.com on Raider Nation Radio 920. When it comes to Mendoza and just kind of how he puts everything together, and like you said, he's very intelligent. I think that he has an opportunity to really grow with Kubiak and really learn. Yeah. And Kubiak has what I've been told, adaptability to adapt to that guy. Instead of saying he has to adapt to my system, Kubiak will be able to more showcase him. I think that helps.
Yeah, I agree. And he's coming from a situation where it was very, very calm and had a lot of success.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good environment to be coming straight out of before you take on a rookie quarterback like this. Because there's so much tone that just needs to be established for somebody who is young. And I know one of the things that comes up a lot about quarterbacks is when they get drafted high, and some people would call it the loser's curse, right? That you get drafted high and then you go to a team and it needs so many things, and so then it makes it harder for you to prove that you were worth the pick because you don't look as good. And I think that it's one of those things that when things do start to hit the fan early in careers, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot going wrong. And so you're trying to plug the holes, and there's so many holes, and you're sort of frazzled. And I think that the difference in environment, like Sam Darnold's a perfect example of somebody who I think dealt with that a lot early in his career, went to San Francisco and was in a different environment where you could just sit back and you could kind of learn and have deeper conversations about football and quarterbacking because there was space to do that because you weren't so frazzled trying to figure out how to fix things. And I think that maybe Kubiak coming from an environment that was probably much more like that this past year, maybe that sets a good tone for somebody like Fernando, and he can model that.
It feels like it has a chance to at the very end of the day. Like, I mean, those two guys get to grow together, right? And I think that that's only a plus. So we know he's not throwing. Most of these guys don't throw. When they're going to be the number 1 overall pick.
The other guys need to. The other guys need
to. For Mendoza, what is most important, I guess, for him this week here?
I wonder if, is anything, to be honest, right? Because everybody already knows where he's likely going to go. So other than, normally I would say just the meetings with teams is probably valuable. And that might even still be, depending on, I don't know how many teams he's planning on talking to.
Right.
But there's a lot that somebody like him, I think, could take from those conversations. If you try to maximize that opportunity to just get in front of different people in the NFL and engage with them. And he seems like somebody who would almost be open to hearing their kind of feedback and then putting that in the back of his brain and kind of going back to work. I think but I don't know that there's anything that he necessarily gains from being here.
He's already number 1.
Kind of. We don't know that officially, but since we kind of do know that.
Right, exactly.
Then I don't know that there is anything to be gained, to be honest.
Right, and then he's throwing at his pro day, and he's going to help out his guys, and that's great. I think that that's a good thing for him.
The one thing that I think would be interesting to look for at his pro day is, so if you're talking about a certain degree of arm strength and where is it, and can you make the hard throws? Because, people talk about the guy who airs it out, and is like, wow, look at that, like the arm punt, right? Okay, so that's great if your team sucks and you need a Hail Mary or at the end of the – but, how frequently is that going to be the case? Right. What you need the guy to do is throw to the intermediate middle of the field on a rope in traffic. What you need him to do is hit a wide receiver exactly in the right spot on the sideline. And so I wonder if that's not something to look for at his pro day, is if the Raiders are out there and they're saying, I'd like to see a few specific throws, or if he doesn't have that in his script to specifically show those two things that are, I think most football people would say those are the harder throws.
Yeah.
They're not we get excited about looking at the 60, 70-yard throw. I don't think that
his name
football
was
evaluators.
No, thank you.
I don't think most football evaluators, I'll say most now, actually get that excited about that particular thing. So I would be curious to see what they did in terms of script to just kind of alleviate whatever concerns there might be about his ability to do that in the NFL.
What do you think about his wide receivers, Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt? Have you started a deep dive on those guys? Can they show something here at the Combine this week where maybe they can even build their stock a little bit?
I think there are tons of people who have a lot at stake, especially names that you're not hearing consistently in the first round. And even frankly, this is a draft where, even at the high end, early in the first, I don't know that this is the thing I'm most interested to find out as I talk to a lot of people, and I'll be curious to get your feedback about this too, is if you said, who are the top 5 players in this draft? Is there a consistent theme there? Are there consistent 5? Jeremiah Love's always
definitely
going to be in that answer.
Mendoza's going to be there. Caleb Downs is going to be there, right?
Or is it, one of the edge rushers? Is it are you putting one of the tackles up there? The guard from Penn State, Ioane? It feels like this draft, the theme for me is that there aren't a lot of can't miss blue chip elite guys, which feels like that's what we were talking about last year too. And so then who are the flavors? And then that means that everyone has the ability to separate, right? Outside of Jeremiah Love, who honestly if he said, I'm not going to do anything, I don't think he has much to gain from doing anything either, because everyone consensus talks about him as the best running back and one of the top 5 players in the draft. So then it just becomes a positional value, opportunity cost conversation. Well, he's out of that. That's not a him-related thing.
Right.
So, but everybody else has space that they can make up positively, or negatively. But I think there's a lot of people that are really incentivized to put some work in and hit the field, and all have different things and different ways that they can stand out and separate. I think that there's a lot of clumps
It, to me, feels like there's a lot of starters in this draft, but not a lot of stars.
That's a great way of Daniel Jeremiah walking by, best in the business. Hi, DJ.
He's the one who told me about the 3 Ps. Got to have a play caller.
You've already been.
You got to have a protection, and you got to have playmakers. There it is.
Full Breakfast Club ending, arm in the air walk off for Daniel Jeremiah.
That's how it is. That's how it be. That's what happens when you're at table 1.
You have a great table. What's that? How did you get number? Oh, is it because you guys have number 1 pick? Do you think they did something with that?
I think it had to do with me, but I mean, yes, probably makes more sense. I was riding that Q's a cool dude. Why wouldn't we put him at table 1?
Why'd I say the other thing? Right. Obviously.
Remember, you were my favorite guest. Right. How we started this whole thing.
And you're my favorite table.
Exactly. Number 1.
You, Q.
Well, plus, it's on top of that, I'm the greatest meet and greet guy anyway, right? I mean, I'm the guy that's, whenever people hit the corner, I'm like, hey, what's happening? What's good to see you? So I think it's just good vibes being here at the
What does it say that we're in the back corner then?
I have everyone warmed up for you. I have everybody warmed up for you. That's what I do. I make sure that they're in a good mood by the time they get to you, so you don't have to deal with no BS.
They're like, put those nerds back there, dude. Those combos are rough.
Those combos are awesome. We love them. We love the draft. Outside of everything we've talked about, what else is kind of like, I guess, to put the cherry on top, the bow on it, with what you are looking forward to learning or seeing this week?
Yeah, I'm in terms of stuff that we'll get out of the combine, I'm really interested in the wide receiver measurements.
Yeah.
Like we said. I'm interested in the whole other crop of quarterbacks. Every other quarterback that is here that is not named Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
I want to see it all because I don't think that number 2 is for sure. I mean, people talk about Ty Simpson a lot as QB2. But at the very least, even if he is QB2, I don't know that a first-round pick being used on him is a given. So I think there's a lot for him to gain. I think nobody agrees about who QB3 is. It feels very like, what's your flavor? Mm-hmm. And so that being said, I want to see everything that the quarterbacks do. Because again, and I've said this a million times, you go look at, like, we have the ability with our Sūmer site model to grade every play for every player in every game, and we grade them in a variety of different traits. Like, we've got 16 different traits for running backs, for instance, that we'll grade. Same is true for quarterbacks. It's just not a high-end trait class at all. And so you're like, well, that guy's a 7, out of 10 in this thing. But I mean, that's what you're talking about for the whole group. They all have like a 4 here and, the 7 may be the best thing that they have going for them. So it's not like a really, really obvious class, and they will all have different skills, and like this guy will look the part, and that guy will be very efficient, and this guy's a good scrambler. And so kind of a pick your poison. I want to see how it all plays out here once they're all in the same field together.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. I look forward to it all the time. Tell everyone what to go look for, Sūmersports.com, what they need to check out right now.
Yeah, so we've got the Sūmer Sports Draft Guide, which you can find at Sūmersports.com. Everything that is part of our umbrella of products can be found at Sūmersports.com. That's Sumer. We also have a new TV show that we started 2 weeks ago called The Evaluation, which you can find on YouTube. We did episodes about the quarterback position, and Mike Mayock is one of our we've got a lot of former scouts and general managers that are going through that show, and we're finally kind of getting to hear them talk about it's like being a fly on the wall inside a front office and hearing them discuss the way they discuss players. And so we did the quarterback position. The running back position is live now. Wide receiver will drop on Thursday, and all of these are evergreen. Like, you can go back and listen to all of them at any point in the draft process, and I think that you'll find them interesting, and those are all linked on Sūmersports.com also.
Love it. One-stop shop. You guys do the best.
Thank you.
We always appreciate you. Lindsay Rhodes,
I am the best at the best.
And you are the best.
I'm going to go tell everyone that. Thank you.
Tell everyone right now. Appreciate you, Lindsay.